All right, my van lifers, this video is for you. We got a bit of a mess behind me, but what that is a FlatLine roof rack for my 170 Mercedes Sprinter van. And we also have an awning provided by Thule. I went with the FlatLine rack for multiple reasons. One, the price point is very good compared to others, and two, they support the bicycle community, which is my world, and anyone who supports that world, I'm gonna support them. So it is now 10 o'clock. I got somewhere to be in a couple hours, so I'm giving myself an hour to put this roof rack on. Yes, we have the ladder and the awning, but I don't want to get too greedy. So we're gonna shoot for getting the roof rack on, and if we have more spare time, hopefully we can get the ladder on too. But don't worry, we're gonna do all of it in this video. So let's go. So first, we start with the sides. Since I'm doing this by myself, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put these side pieces up here on top of the van, just leaning on the stock roof rails that I already have on top of the van. So if you don't have those roof rails already attached to the roof, you obviously can't do this. So if you got to this point, I imagine you have those up there. Because when I started this process, I didn't have those, and I had to have the stock roof rails actually added to my van. To put the 3 flat side panels together, we have these flat plates. Bolt through the outside into the plate. Now I'm gonna keep all these loose because you don't want to tighten them up yet, because if they're not sitting in the perfect space, then it's obviously not gonna really line up right on your van. So I don't know if I'm making it harder on myself putting all these together, but I have a feeling I am. So I'm actually just gonna do 2 at a time. I'm your typical stubborn dude, and I like to guess before I start looking at instructions. All right, now I'm ready to bolt the side plates to the actual van. So we got our bigger bolts with our little cone washers. I'm assuming that's to help keep tension so they don't back out, kind of like a lock washer, I'm assuming. We have these little flat nuts. They're gonna go down in the channels of the stock roof rails and bolt directly to that. All right, passenger side rails are on. I put these 2 together. Don't do that. I just was getting ahead of myself. It is a lot easier if you just bolt 1 panel at a time. Again, everything's loose. Notice I can slide it if I need to. That way we can get up here and make it all perfect towards the end there. Next side. All right, I did want to point out this one section. Notice how this panel has this gap in the middle. So this is the middle panel for the driver's side plates, but this gap is for the ladder. So make sure this piece is obviously right in the middle, because that's where your ladder is going to attach on the driver's side. All 6 side panels are up. We obviously have our 1 plate attaching 2 up front, so we have 3 more plates. I'm going to go ahead and attach these on all the edges where that connects all 3 panels on both sides together, and then we can start adding in all the center supports. This is a much easier job than I ever expected it to be. Granted, I'm setting up cameras and it's a little more time consuming, but if I'm just straightforward with it, I would have been done by now. I had to leave 1 off due to the AC unit, so, which is fine. Next step, front little fairing. All right, this section we're actually gonna assemble on the ground. It's got a little bit of framework to do, so we don't really want to be on the roof putting all that stuff together. Right. We got our 3 pieces of hardware. You got this little flat one that's gonna go in the middle. You got these 2 angle pieces, which are gonna go on the sides. The rough side is the outside, the smooth side is the inside. This is gonna face up like that. You see it. Now I have this piece that goes behind it. You'll see most of the holes line up. And here, we are doing these little flat, I don't know what kind of nuts you would call these, but they fit down in the back here, tighten up from the inside. Easy as that. So in the end, it's gonna look like this. But that's our middle support in. After doing the center one, I now have 8 nylon nuts left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the longer flange bolts. We're gonna be going through that top panel. Corner piece. These bolts. Sometimes I just decide to do things the hardest way. I don't know how my brain works at times. All right, so before we attach that fairing onto the front, we have this back piece that goes on the very rear. So slide right underneath this rear rail. All the holes continue to line up perfectly, which makes this job so much easier. Sweet, now we do the other side. So I'm noticing as I'm putting this on, it's actually hitting my rear view camera, but luckily everything's still loose. Now we're not touching. All right, here we are. Just over an hour and everything's together. Now we just gotta tighten it up. But I got places to be. So I'm gonna tighten these up, run, do some errands, and then we'll come back and I'll put up the ladder and throw on the awning. I hope you guys are watching this video all the way through and not doing like I do, watch a little bit at a time as we're in a project, because the front fairing, I did a little wrong. Not wrong, no big deal, but I took it back off, and these little flat pieces I told you about, that, oh yeah, they just go on the back here. Well, these actually go in the square tubing. I'm not sure, L-track or what the crossbars are between. Well, this goes actually in the grooves, and then the fairing bolts to that, tightens down to those bars, and everything's secure. But I was obviously trying to knock it out within an hour for the video purpose, so we made a mistake. Anyways, back to it. All right, fairing is bolted back on. Now we have this little rubber strip that just goes on the front. There's a rough side to match the look of the front fairing, and then there's just a then there's like a rubber tube on the bottom, which will sit on top of your van, and that way this rattling is not gonna scratch your paint. Note, put this rubber strip on first before you get up here. Rookie move. Safe to say this will not come off once it's on. I am making this so much harder on myself. We did it. Oh, that looks so good. We got a little bit of daylight. Actually, I just opened the package for the ladder. I'm gonna set it on there so you guys can see it. But it requires some self-tap screws underneath the van, and I don't really want to rush this process like I did earlier today. So we're gonna save it for tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll wrap this thing up. All right, back at it. Where did we leave off? Check it out. So what I did was I went ahead and bolted the ladder to the frame, so it's just sitting there. So now it comes with brackets that bolt underneath the body of the van, but we have to drill and tap into one section. Yeah, let's grab the tools and get it done. Driver's side, rear wheel. We also have the bottom of the ladder right here. We're gonna take this bracket, and it needs to look like this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drill a hole directly right there, and that's where we're gonna put the bolt through to bolt all this up. I drilled a 1/2 inch hole. I don't really know why I did that. I could have definitely gone smaller, but it's all good. Now we're gonna take this flat plate, slide it in between the brace and the ladder, and you see these holes, these top holes right here. they're gonna go in between and sit right on that lip. And we're gonna tap them in from the opposite side. All right, we had little self-tappers provided. Got us a 10 mil and just tap it in. Looks like I gotta move the ladder to get to the other two. That's all right, because we're all bolted in now. There we go. All right, everything's tight and adjusted. What the truth. Oh, we're good. Go all the way up, huh? Yeah. Look forward to this day for a long time. I will say, right here, it's not FlatLine's fault, but when I had this van built, my shore power was just put anywhere because obviously I didn't have a ladder, so just coincidentally, it falls right behind my ladder, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Honestly, what I might do is actually take a notch out of the back of the step. Sorry, FlatLine. But I'm capable. I have the tools for the job for that, so I could cut a little notch right out of the back of the step, and that would open up fully as far as it needs to go. So, and it wouldn't really change the strength of the ladder. So that's another one, but off camera. The ladder and the roof rack just completely changes the whole look of the entire van. I love it. All right, one last thing, bolt up the awning, and that is a wrap. So this is the awning by Thule. So the Thule rack actually has a system where this whole mounting system bolts onto the awning, and then there's these brackets that go underneath so like a normal roof rack, it would just bolt straight to that. Well, we're not doing it that way. I want to fit it directly to the FlatLine rack, so we're gonna get rid of that. You slide these little bolts in the slots. We're gonna have 4 on each side, and instead of using that bracket, what I'm gonna do is just drill holes directly into the FlatLine rack and just bolt it directly on. One side actually has slots for the bolts to fit pretty perfectly, but this is a 10-foot awning, and it's about 6 inches shy of the next set of slots, so we're gonna drill it on. This is gonna be the tough one solo. All right, so these are the mounting brackets that came with the Thule awning. I'm just gonna use this as a guide for the 4 bolt holes. So luckily the top 2 line up with these 2 slots that already provided in the FlatLine rack. I just gotta drill 2 more at the bottom, and the hardware it comes with, it only comes with a set, so 2 brackets for the awning. The hardware has an extra 4 of those T-bolts. I'm actually doing a 3rd mounting spot in the middle of the awning, so we'll actually have 3 anchor points, which is only just gonna make it that much stronger. So 4 bolts there, 4 bolts in the middle, 4 bolts on the end.
Do I have to be on camera?
Yeah, in your short pants.
Is my butt dirty?
I think the best thing is to put you on the roof of the van, and I'm gonna hold the awning up.
Oh my god.
And all you gotta do is line up all of these bolts to go in the holes.
Okay, the washer.
God damn it. Alright, so you're gonna have to line those bolts up because I can't see them. We did it! First try. Woo! All the bolt holes lined up. Alright, see you, chick. Work smarter, not harder. we have shade. Well, we did it. Almost a one-man show. The only thing is getting the awning up there is definitely a two-person job, but we finally have a roof rack, a ladder, and an awning. I normally travel with a couple 10x10 tents for my racing pits, so it's nice to have one 10x10 stationary at all times. And now when I bring two, I'll have a bigger pit space from now on. Oh yeah, stoked on how everything came out. And I hope it helped you. Until next time, be safe out there. Peace.